Dang it. It's her. It's her. She just won't take it. We just gotta let her eat it a little longer. Got her. Got her. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, we got her. It only took 4 days, but we got her. Oh my gosh. Oh, that fish has been giving me trouble for the last 4 days, and we finally got her. Awesome. All right. 2 more. 2 more. 2 more.
We're back. Stop number 6 is done here at Lake Chickamauga of the FLW Tour. We got John Cox. Not only is this, well, you've won once, you've won twice. This is your 3rd time hoisting one of these bad boys in a $100,000 check. Not too shabby, man.
Oh man, I can't believe it. I mean, it was just the week was just full of so many you know, changes and obstacles, and just it's just unbelievable that, you know, and it came down to the last 10 minutes.
It did.
Like it was unreal.
Well-played event. We're on a slight time crunch because you have a flight to get to. So, without further ado, let's get the boat in the water. Let's go catch a 9-pounder.
All right, that sounds good.
I think it's no surprise, John, that you fished your week up shallow, which was the cool thing about being at Chickamauga in May, or in early May, is that there's fish spawning, there's fish out on the ledges. Like this week, a guy could really do whatever he wanted to do to catch fish, and that actually set up the best probably for you, and obviously for you, because you could get back in these little backwater things and catch fish that were getting ready to spawn or were spawning, right?
Right, yeah, I mean, and you know, that was the neat thing. When you come to a place like here that has so many fish and so many patterns going at one time, you can pretty much do whatever you want for whatever the conditions are for that day. And that's pretty much what we did, was just we adjusted every day and did something a little bit different, pretty much with the same 2 baits. And just rolled with it, you know. I mean, and you know, sometimes we would fish so much, you know, like this pocket we're in now, it's a huge pocket.
Yep.
I'd fish this entire pocket for 2 bites, you know. So I mean, it was a grind. I really grinded really hard on them this tournament, and just kept making the changes and catching them.
Well, you had to. I know you did fish some of the same stuff every day. I know you looked at some new stuff every day. But really the gist was just getting back shallow. The water was coming up throughout the event, so these fish were still, you know, if you found some beds, because you did find, you marked beds in practice, they were out a little bit. Right. The water had been coming up, and you pretty much just had to keep going along and fishing this bank grass stuff.
So yeah, so when we got here during practice, the edge of this grass was pretty much dry land. I mean, it might have had a couple inches of water on it.
Oh, okay.
So fish, they were wanting to go up the spawn. You know, they were waiting for this to get, you know, full pool. Yep. And now we're at full pool, so now there's water and everything. But you could actually watch them fish as the week went on, how they'd get closer and closer and closer. Cool. And then they'd finally, you know, they would make a bed and go on the bed. So it was really neat watching that all week. You know, and then now at the end of the tournament, it's, you know, you can't see in the water barely at all. Right. You know. You know, so coming into this tournament, you know, knew the fish were going to be, you know, in all these different stages and stuff. And I just, you know, I was just trying to think of a bait that would catch everything: spawning fish, fish that were chasing bluegills, fry garters. You know, like something that you could pick all the fish off, and that's where I used the MaxScent General and baby bass 6-inch, and I pretty much, I'll show you what I did. But you can catch them everywhere on this thing. And
you have caught them everywhere on this thing. Like it's no surprise to see a spinning rod in your hand with a Wacky rig.
I know, and like I fought it for so long, and then I just, you know, I would take my kids fishing and stuff, and they would slay them on them, you know. So it was like, you know, maybe I should throw this thing.
Yeah, probably.
So pretty much what you do, you just take it, and then you get a small, you know, I think I was using a 1/0 Berkley Fusion finesse wide gap hook, and you just hook it right in the middle, just like that.
Boom.
Nothing to it. Right, and then so then this thing, what I would do is I would skip it and pitch it and just throw it anywhere I thought that there might be a fish, and would just let it sink. And I would have to say 80% of the time before it even hit the bottom, they would pick it up and your line would be swimming off. But that last day of the tournament, I'd really had to work it because the bite just wasn't really on that good, and I'd have to actually let it sit. And I would just barely move the rod tip and just barely work it back. And then I would just leave it there. Once I felt like it was in the perfect zone of where a fish would be, or was sitting on a bed that I couldn't see, or whatever it was, or in the bluegill beds, I just let it sit in the bluegill beds, and then all of a sudden you'd see the line jump and it'd take off. And it was just, oh, it was so awesome.
But it's really like these pockets in this grass, or like a point of it, anywhere you think you could visualize a bed of a bass sitting, or like a cypress tree,
right?
Any of that stuff on the shoreline,
anything, right?
Your high percentage,
right?
That's where you flip
and that's what you would do. You'd flip the points, and then like you see, like on this bank here, you got a point, and then you got a cubby hole, and then you got another point, but then you have an isolated one in the cubby hole. Those were really key. Those are really key stretches. Was either they were on that point or they were on that isolated piece in the cubby hole.
And looking down, there's a couple more isolated. There's like a little stick out in front. Like so any of that kind of stuff would be where you'd want to pitch instead of trying to hit every little
because there is too much of it. Like there wasn't. It wasn't like, you know, the fish were stacked anywhere I fished. You know, there was only, you know, I'd fish miles and might catch 2 fish. You know, so it was really. You know, it was just a grind, and really had to cover a lot of water. You know, when I was throwing this Wacky rig general, my main setup was I was using a 1/0 Berkley Fusion wide gap finesse hook,
which is kind of smaller than some guys will throw.
Yeah, some guys like a bigger one. I like, you know, it seems to work fine for me. You know, I don't want it too big because I feel like it hangs more stuff. It does sink a little faster with a bigger one.
Sure.
But you know, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, you can do so much with with that bait, just changing the hook size.
Gotcha.
But then I'm running it to have a 10-pound 100% Berkley trilene leader to 10-pound fire line.
Okay.
And have it on a 7-foot medium Fantista Premier spinning rod with a Premier reel. But you know, the thing with this rod in the medium, it actually, you know, it's able to drive the hook. It's still got enough backbone to drive the hook, but then, you know, when it loads up, it just bends so perfect that when you're fighting those fish, I mean, because it's scary to catch, you know, anything over 3 pounds on a spinning rod, you know, and catching, you know, 20 pounds of fish on a spinning rod. It is, I mean, you're chasing them around the boat and stuff, and the rod handles them and so well in the smoothness of the reel, of the drag on these reels, and that's like a key. I've always used these reels ever since I started fishing with
It is
spinning
buttery
rods.
smooth.
Oh, it is. It is super smooth, and that's what you want because, you know, when those fish are surging, jumping next to the boat, and you know, all chaos is breaking loose, and you have it on fire line. You know, you have to have a rod that's going to bend enough so that you don't break off, that you don't rip the hook out of them. You know, and you know, that 7-foot medium, it is an amazing rod.
This setup right here has just won you a lot of money.
A ton right here, and you know, I will go up sometimes to the medium heavy. 7-foot, and the only difference is I'll go to that medium heavy if I'm making really long casts.
Okay.
And I'm needing just a little bit more to set the hook, you know.
At a distance.
Yeah,
kind of
and maybe if I'm pulling them out of a little more stuff. But here, most of the fish are on the outsides of everything, and so once you got them in open water, you know, then they were, you know.
Sure.
Good.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot for them to get tangled in.
Right.
I dig it. You crushed it.
Man, I know. I still don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I got a fun story I could tell real quick about John sight fishing and how good he is.
Oh, jeez.
It was told to me by Ramey Colson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, what was it when the?
You came in and caught one like on a stretch. He'd already flipped down, and he just sat there and watched you, and he was like, "That's why he's so good." Like.
Yeah, I came in and I didn't want to cut him off, so I was trying to figure out what way he was going. And I pulled in, and then I just pulled in right on the fish. I power pulled down, and then I threw in their first throw and caught it, and then I left. I jumped up on the plane and left and got out of his
Ramey said
way.
he looked around, he saw John come in, And he goes, look at this. And he hits his marshal, and he's like, watch this. And he saw you put the poles down, get up, look, and he's like, look in this water. Like, I can't see 2 inches. I don't know how he saw a bed. And he said, you bent down, grabbed your rod, pitched over there, shook it a little bit, and then you had it on. He's like, it looked like a 4-pounder or something. Right. You netted it, and whoop, away you went.
Took off, went to the next one, yeah.
But that comes back to like how much preparation you did in practice, just in terms of like knowing where some better quality ones were. Stick bass.
Yeah, that was stick.
Oh,
I think it's the same stick I just hung a minute ago.
You're so good.
Oh no,
new stick. But yeah, like you just knew you didn't have to waste time early in the event.
Right.
You know, trying to just fish for a big bite. You could kind of cherry pick ones that you at least knew were ready to go, or you could catch.
Right. That's what I got. The good weight the first day was I just ran the 5 biggest that I found during practice, and yeah, I ran. And actually, I had some really big females, and I went to them first and couldn't catch them, and then
like double-digit size
fish.
like
giant ones, and they just a lot of them left, and then one was just acting weird, and it ended up just wasn't ready, and yeah,
you didn't need it.
No, but I was just saying, it's so, that's what's so awesome about this place is that if you can go, I had 24, almost 25 pounds with male bass, which are normally smaller than females. So, I mean, just when you come to a place like that, I mean, it's so much fun.
Dude, that's crazy, man. So the Wacky Rig General was a super crucial part to your week, but also this bait caster with a swim jig was another big player for you.
Yeah, this thing was, I'm telling you, this is how I thought I was gonna catch a lot of the fish after I ran out of bedding fish, you know, and I caught some really key ones, and it was just, I just could cover so much water. I was just using a 1/2 ounce dirty jig, swim jig. I was putting a MaxScent meaty chunk on the back, white, and man, just fly down this bank and just throw it at everything, and I'd get bites randomly in different places and stuff. And I had it on a 50-pound X5 Berkley braid. I put it on a 7.6 Fantista Premier, medium heavy, because the water here it's so shallow. I couldn't use the heavy because when you set the hook, the fish would fly out of the water.
Right.
So I just had a medium heavy 7.6, and I had it on a Revo Premier 7.3-1, and just that was it. I mean, it's just simple setup, and do the same thing. Pretty much pick apart some of the same parts that I'd pick apart with the Senko. The points and the pockets and stuff, and I'd swim this thing by them. But it seemed like it worked the best when you would come to like lay downs and any kind of like hard structure that wasn't. I think because the water wasn't quite full enough in some of the grass.
Oh, okay.
But that it was more on stuff that stuck out past the grass, a stick or whatever.
And like you said, you could get bit on that, pull down, and maybe throw that general around a little bit.
And get more bites. Yeah, if I got one bite on this, I could probably get 2-3 bites on the general. Once it would kind of just help me find where I thought the fish were, or so where I could then work them, and just help me locate them quicker.
And you could get them to the boat a little quicker with that thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it was so much fun. In that video where I didn't even know it was lightning. I didn't know it was raining, but I was so in the zone throwing that I wasn't hearing the lightning. And then once I caught this big fish and got him in the boat, and then I realized that it was lightning, and my camera guy's like, it's been doing that for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, and look at that lightning. Oh my gosh.
And I just was so focused that I just had no idea it was that bad.
For you winning an FLW Cup and a tour event on Hartwell and the Red River, you said yesterday that this win here on Chickamauga was one of your favorites. Why? This is one of my favorite lakes. So I love fishing here, and it was just how the whole week was, and how everything changed every day. Fish something a little different every day, and just kept moving. And I was just grinding on them to win this thing. And man, when I caught them last 2 fish in the last 10 minutes, and
man, I called that last 2-pounder and I'm running back. Man, I was breaking down. Like I was like, man, I was tearing up, and like it was just a feeling like it just.
Come here.
You know.
Come here. Come here. Woo! Woo! We gotta go. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Oh my God.
Was it like, did you know at that time, or did you have a gut feeling that you had it locked with those fish?
Well, I don't know, just the way it ended, it just felt so, I felt like I won. You know, it was really overwhelming.
Yeah.
I got back to, you know, the check-in there, and I was just like, you know, couldn't believe it.
Let's go. There we go. That was last minute there, boy. Oh my gosh.
All right, with that, I think we should pack them and hit the road. And I'm only saying that because I really want you to make your flight. As of right now, it might be a little close, but I think you'll be okay. Regardless, fantastic job this week. You caught fish when you needed to catch fish. We're working on a limited budget. Congratulations again, and let's catch some fish at Champlain.
Yep, Champlain.
Let's do it.